What am I going to draw today? What can I draw? Hmm. No. Hello, I'm Gus, and this is Wiseguss illustration. Today we're going to draw Vegeta. Vegeta, the prince of the Saiyan race, that came to Earth to destroy it but was stopped by the Earth Warriors. Is maybe one of the best characters in the whole saga. Vegeta is a proud and evil character, reason why we're going to see triangular shapes in his face. Dragon Ball character's anatomy is very close to reality, but it is done in a very simplified way. So it is an excellent first step to get us inside the world of anatomy. We are ready to begin, so take pencil and paper and come draw with me. This is the picture we're going to draw today. I'm going to start by framing the pose so I make sure it fits inside the space. I start by drawing the pose using simple lines. These lines give me an idea of the sizes and angles. Then I use simple shapes to create volume. In this case I use mostly boxes or rectangles. Making a quick measurement, I can see that the size of his torso is 2 heads. His legs are 3 heads long. His extended arm is 2 heads long. With my picture completely framed, I can start observing the shapes. At first, I'm going to observe the general shapes, and then I'm going to subdivide the body parts into smaller shapes. With this we see that his torso is triangular. His arms have mostly rectangular shapes. His legs are mostly rectangular. His boots are rectangular with a triangular shape for the foot. His chest are 2 rounded rectangles, and they get linked to the arm using a rounded muscle. In his arm, the main muscle is the biceps. All muscles go to it or come out from it. The muscles in his thigh are squared and they join towards the knee. His knee has an octagon shape. In the lower side, we see a rectangular muscle in the side of his calf. His gloves are rectangular. His right hand that is closed into a fist is a rectangle. His left hand is a rectangle for the palm and then smaller rectangles for the fingers. I divide the shape of his face in halves. On the vertical line, the right side is smaller than the left side. His eyebrows, eyes, and nose are triangular. His eyebrows start almost in the intersection of the guidelines. We draw them in an angle slightly tilted upwards. Then the base of his eye has a more straight angle. His mouth is a rectangle that is mostly in the right side of his face. I use the eyebrows and nose as reference to draw the ear. I subdivide his hair with triangular shapes. In one side the line is going to be slightly curved, while in the other side the line is going to be broken. I use the drawing stage to improve the lines. I make sure every line has the right shape and weight. We must remember that the previous stage, the sketch stage, is about shapes. I make sure to represent every part of the body with the right shape. In his neck, I draw lines that go from his chest to the ear. Now, in the drawing stage, is more about lines. I make sure that every line has the right angle, the right curvature, or the right straight line. Here I can include smaller detail lines like wrinkles or shading lines. When I have all my lines in place, I'm going to use a dark color to trace all the picture. In this case, I'm using black. By doing this, the result is going to be a lot cleaner. For one side, we can improve and correct some lines, and in the other side, remember, we don't want to color over pencil lines. At the end of this process, we are going to erase all the graphite from the paper. I did it with a moldable eraser, but you can do it using a normal eraser. That graphite on the paper can mess up your picture later. Let's talk about the coloring stage. My background is going to be black. Reason why I'm going to use Chinese ink to paint all this big area. For the ink to run smoothly, I mix it up with a few drops of water. I use a liner brush to paint all the outside edges. As I always recommend, we're going to start by coloring the background. After this, with a bigger brush, I can paint the rest of the space. Sometimes I forget how useful ink is. I think I should use it more. I'm going to use markers to create all the base colors. Blue for his suit. Yellow ochre for his skin, yellow for his Super Saiyan hair, and finally gray for the shades of the lightest areas like his gloves and boots. Now it's time for shading. The shading in Dragon Ball characters is very simple. In all cases, I'm going to divide the area of light and dark, and then I'm going to color the dark area. A soft line and color. I can also define some areas for a darker shading, and also areas for highlight. My final illustration is not going to have an inking like the original picture. Instead of that, I'm going to use some darker colors to define better some specific areas. Like for example, some features in his face, in his hair, in his muscles, in his fingers. And of course, we can leave out some Super Saiyan glow. What do you think of my Vegeta illustration? Do you like it? Did you not? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for drawing Vegeta with me. I want to see your results. I invite you to post your picture to Instagram and tag Wiseguss illustration. Finally, if you like this video, like it, subscribe, but most importantly, share it with someone who can find this content useful. See you in the next video. Adiós.